I said to myself, if I was ever going to pick up this channel again, I do it properly. I do it the way I want to do it. I take my time with videos. But I'm in the process of making one and decided to, on the day, make this. So thumbnails rushed. This is rushed. Took notes on the game just gone. Wolves City 4-0. Great way to start the season. Thought I'd get a video out. I had this idea, but I thought, do you know what? Like, fuck it. If I don't do it now, I'm not gonna do it. You know, it's better to get something out there rather than just sit on it. So apologies for the lack of effort or kind of rushness to this video. As I'm recording this, about half an hour ago, the news had broke that James McAtee is leaving Manchester City. Now, this is something that had been rumoured for a few days. I thought I'd just quickly touch upon it. Yeah, makes complete sense. A player like him needs minutes. It's obviously shown with the signings that we made this season that he isn't in the plans going forward. But I think his quality is that of a Premier League midfielder, like a commanding Premier League midfielder. So Forest, good level for him, especially as he kind of, you saw Tommy Doyle go to Wolves and it hasn't quite worked. It kind of, at the beginning, he was kind of a mainstay and he's slowly slipping away from that first team. But Forest, a much better prospect in terms of just all-round club compared to Wolves. So yeah, I will make a more drawn-out explanation on him in a video that I am actually about to record and build and make, and it will be a lot more detailed than entertaining than this. But here we are. All right, let's just jump straight into the 5 things that I learned about City Wolves. So first thing I learned is that Ederson seems to be on his way out and that we don't need Donnarumma. There has been no official bid made for Ederson, but it's clear that his future doesn't lie within this squad. I was extremely happy to see Trafford on the team sheet when the graphic came out. I was a bit worried it was going to be Ortega. Obviously, there's still quite a lot of trust from Pep to Ortega as a second in command, obviously giving him more of the cup games, but that's how Pep usually rotates his keepers. But Ortega, perfectly good keeper if we actually had to have him for as a number 1 for the full season. But obviously, signing James Trafford, I was worried that we wouldn't use him even with Ederson and Ortega. And obviously the Donnarumma links coming in made me even more nervous, but extremely happy to see him on the team sheet. And, quite a commanding performance, I would say. He didn't have to do too much. Most of his actions were for players who were offside, but even in those moments, he doesn't quite know if someone's offside or not, so he has to react. He did things very well. He looked commanding in the air. He looked commanding in terms of being able to tell. There was a moment where John Stones, they could have clashed. He made the shout. He claimed the ball. Communication's obviously there. Decent with his feet. Obviously, it's difficult to compare him to Ederson, but from what I saw, confident. He did have that wobble on the kind of 73rd minute where he looked like he took a little bit too long on the ball, but he still got it away. Obviously, we have seen very similar things from Ederson before that we've all come to kind of not appreciate, but kind of understand that he will get the ball away, he will distribute. Trafford's still got that bit about him. The signing itself, very happy with, even if he wasn't a City Academy graduate. He had an incredible season last. I don't have the numbers, but there's, incredible record that he had for clean sheets, at least for Burnley last season. But by the looks of things, Ederson is on his way out. Trafford seems to be the number 1. I'm pretty happy with this, happy with his performance today, happy that he's an academy graduate. I know he left and came back. England, hopefully number 1. He maybe could push himself. Could he? I don't know. I don't think he will, but he's definitely going to be in the squad for the World Cup. If he has a good season for Manchester City, I think displacing Pickford's a very big task, but you never know. You never know. Good season for Trafford ahead, but number 1, Ederson seems to be on his way out, and Trafford seems to be our number 1. So no Donnarumma, and I'm glad. Number 2 is that selling Rico Lewis would be insanity. Now, Forest have come in and got James McAtee. I understand that move, as I said before. Right time. He needs proper football. I think it'd be unfair to keep him and drag him along and string him along, especially with the signings that we've made. I've said that at the top of the show. But for Rico, there were links, or at least rumours, that Forest were interested in him as well. And we've apparently struggled to sign him or kind of get a contract get a contract extension, in place over the summer. And that really pissed me off, to be fair. It's one of them ones where, like, McAtee, you can see the situation developing. He's not getting enough minutes at Man City, but Rico Lewis, he is getting the minutes at Manchester City. He's getting the respect in the first team. From his debut, really, he was given a massive amount of responsibility for such a young player. I think it was 19 or 18, or maybe even 17, coming into the treble winning season at right back. Not his natural position, as we clearly see, but Pep used him in this way where he would push him forward into the midfield, into the kind of number 8 role, and kind of outside of the box sometimes, just to have another man in the midfield, and it really worked. And when Kyle Walker came back into the fold, he used that tactic into John Stones, and it kind of in a way confused other teams. And I genuinely think that tactical shift of moving from a 4 to a 3 and having that extra man in midfield and even a kind of progressive midfield role was the reason that we won the treble, because people weren't expecting that kind of tactic from Pep, and that came from Rico. I'm not saying it came from Rico Lewis himself, the tactic, but he was the test subject that let it all work. Ever since then, yes, he's been played as a right back. He is not a right back. He is not the best right back, but he is a great footballer. And when you see him, just like today, getting in those positions, kind of packing out the midfield, making decent runs, making a bit of space, great communication, great work rate. You saw him in a CDM role, you saw him in an 8, you saw him in a 10, you saw him as a second striker sometimes. Obviously, you got the assist today, really well worked. Great, kind of understanding with a new player as well, and the pass to Haaland just to tap it in. To get rid of him would be, as I said, insanity. I do think he's been unfairly criticised somewhat. Maybe this is just me, kind of singing his praises and people being like, calm down, he's not that good. But he isn't a right back. And when you do watch him, when you really do study him as a footballer, you see the way he moves around the pitch at such a young age. It's very commanding. He's telling the senior players what to do. To not have a player, an academy player like him within your club as a long-term mainstay, it's just such a bad decision. So Rico Lewis, the fact that there was rumours about him pissed me off, and to sell him would be insanity. Number 3, I've gone for Nico Gonzalez. This is going to be a defining season for him. Obviously, the loss of Rodri last season was a massive blow amongst the magnitude of things that went wrong. But having a kind of metronome Ballon d'Or winner out for a whole season is pretty horrific. And what was worse is our ability to actually fill that position, which Nico Gonzalez is kind of heavily involved with. Bought him in January. He was called the mini Rodri. A lot of pressure from him. He's still a very young player. But to come into the Premier League with that amount of expectation of Pep Guardiola calling you mini Rodri in a season when we don't have Rodri, you're expecting a lot of him to fill that role immediately, to be Rodri, and unfortunately he did underwhelm in that first half of the season. Now, I always do try and give players a full year under Pep before I kind of say that they're not good or look at them in a negative way, because you have seen a lot of the time that people do struggle to adapt to Pep Guardiola, and you give it a year and then you can really see what they're about. Yes, this position in particular has been one that has been very hard to fill. We've seen Calvin Phillips, we've seen Gundogan try and play in this position. Obviously Nico Gonzalez. I think I've seen Bernardo Silva play in here. We've had obviously Fernandinho's left now, but you had like Rico Lewis is filled in this position. It's never quite worked. And to see Nico Gonzalez today was, I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. Maybe I was judging him harshly, but he did start the game a little bit wobbly. There was a few misplaced passes, but I think that was the whole team. Things weren't quite gelling as they should be, or as they did kind of past the 35, 40th minute. But then you start to grow into the game. His touches were smart. His way he picked up the ball, the kind of speed in which he got the ball away, it was reminiscent of Rodri. And I'm not saying he is mini Rodri, but it gave me a lot of confidence that we won't have this kind of big glaring hole in the side like we did last year. It will be interesting to see how, if it was just Wolves, it was just a lucky game, how he will fare against the bigger sides in the Premier League, because the midfields that he will come up against are much, much stronger than Wolves today. But after today, I look at him, I look at our defence, I look at our keeper, and it gave me confidence that we will have a decent title charge this season. Before, I was kind of putting us down a little bit, saying some of our areas haven't been strengthened. Obviously, we don't have a right back, this, that, the next. But watching us today, watching the confidence that we grew into and the way we moved the ball around and defended and countered and just everything kind of post, second half really. Yeah, I definitely feel that we're in a good shout for the title this year. I know that Liverpool and Arsenal are extremely strong. I think it's going to be a fantastic season to watch these three teams. Even Chelsea as well. I think it's just going to be a great season, but we're right amongst it. I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself with Nico Gonzalez, but for today anyway, unreal performance, and it's given me a lot of confidence in him. Number 4, and the thing that I'm probably the most happy about from this game, is that Reijnders is the transfer of the window. Yes, you've got your Zubamendi's, Gyökeres, Sesko, Wirtz, Ekitike, doesn't matter. Serie A midfielder of the year, 46 million. What a debut. Genuinely, put in the comments if you have seen a better debut. Obviously, I remember Sergio Aguero had a really good one, but nothing really sticks out as well as this today. For your club, for whoever, if you do remember a better one, stick in. I'd like to hear. I'll probably go rewatch it if it's decent. But today, oh my days, so just the class on him, the vision on him, the close control, the energy, like his goal, his assist, that kind of second assist to Rico Lewis, just everything about his play today was. I didn't want to say it because it sounded unreasonable at the time anyway, but I thought that he would be the perfect person to sign to replace Kevin De Bruyne. I'm not saying he is Kevin De Bruyne, but he, right now, or this summer window, was the perfect person to sign to replace Kevin De Bruyne. And I think I'm confident in saying that now. I'm airing that out to the public because he just looks so comfortable. He looks so relaxed. Yes, it's against Wolves. We could take it with a pinch of salt. It's the first game of the season. I'm very excited. But I have no doubt in my mind, before this game anyway, I had no doubt in my mind that he'd be an absolute success. But I think it's going to be like up there. He could fight for player of the season this year. Like, he is so good. I need to start watching more European football. I have limited time. I try to stick to City because, it's impossible to know everything with football. So you kind of fixate on what you do want to know and where you can. But my God, when people are talking about players, I'm going to give them a watch before they come to the Premier League. I'm going to stop being so English biased because Jesus Christ, I've missed out on so much beautiful football from this man, which I now will go and rewatch because the way he just commanded the whole game, his first Premier League game for Manchester City was, I'm so excited for this season, man. It's going to be great. And he's also like super cute, very smiley. I think the stands are going to love him. You're going to see a lot of Twitter stands with his picture. But yeah, Reijnders, transfer of the season, to be player of the season. He's incredible. I'm going to round this off with number 5, that Oscar Bobb is the truth. I said this last year. I don't know where. If there's a tweet, I'll try and find it. But I was saying last year how good he'll be. This will be his breakout season. The kind of tail end of the 23-24 season. The goal against Newcastle in January when KDB came back from his injury. All these things, he was building up to a big season last season. Injury happened. We hardly saw him. And genuinely, I forgot about him. I was like, I know he's there. But Savinho, we could sign Rodrigo. We've got Grealish. We've got Doku. Like, we've got wingers. Foden can play out there. Cherki, maybe. I'm not too sure. But I forgot about Bobb. Essentially, I forgot about Bobb. And now Grealish just left. Savinho, there's links to Tottenham. I got a bit worried. I was like, okay, we might have to sign Rodrigo. But I don't think we have to anymore. Like, Oscar Bobb can play on the left. He can play on the right. His speed is incredible. His touch is incredible. His close control is incredible. His awareness is incredible. The way his imagination to find these turns or to even think of how to get out of these sticky situations is incredible. And I'm loving the fact that he just picked up exactly where he left off at the beginning of last season, or the tail end of the season before that. But watching that kind of Cruyff turn tackle that just by one touch gets the ball off the player, puts it into a position ahead of himself so he can push forward and obviously assist Reijnders. But his whole performance today was incredible. I every time he got the ball, I was excited. He was the cherry on the top for this performance. There's a few players this season, Nico Gonzalez, Oscar Bobb, Kuzanov, players who were already at City, who I think are going to have incredible seasons. And the new signings, I mean, Cherki got a goal. He didn't even do any of the things that he's good at. He just banged one in. Yeah, it's going to be a great season. But that was a very rushed, very quick 5 things I learned from the City Wolves game. As I said, I'm recording a bigger video. There might be some streams sometime. There might be some bits and bobs coming out from me. Nothing too serious. I'm being relaxed. I'm going to take my time with things. Not this. So apologies again. But yeah, I'll put some things out. We'll see how it goes. But for now, I'll see you later.